Welcome to the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast.
This podcast is brought to you by the Jefferson County Department of Health.
As we move into the Thanksgiving and Christmas season during the time of COVID-19, we need to make a few important considerations. Firstly, COVID-19 transmission is increasing across the entire United States. In fact, we're seeing more cases per day than we have at any point during the pandemic so far. Because of that, we recommend against having gatherings with people outside of your household. However, if these gatherings are to occur, we do recommend a few safety measures to make these events as safe as possible for all people involved. Firstly, know before you go. Get a COVID-19 test prior to having an event and understand what your status is. Next, quarantine for 2 weeks prior to the event. This would mean staying away from people outside of your household for the 2 weeks leading up to the event to decrease the chance of bringing COVID-19 to that event. Next, gather outside and limit the size of the gathering as much as possible. By being outside in the open air, you decrease your chance of spreading COVID-19. And finally, wear a mask while you're not eating. It's one of the most important tools that we have to decrease the spread of COVID-19. By following these bits of guidance, you should be able to have as safe of a holiday as possible and protect your loved ones. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is Jarvis S. Scott with What's Happening Birmingham. Today, I have the honor, pleasure, and a person like a blast from the past, my friend Toni Leeth. She is the president of Junior League of Birmingham, a great nonprofit that is doing things here in our community for years. So, Toni, good afternoon. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Jarvis. It's so good to see you again. Yeah, it is funny you say blast from the past. We won't say how long that's been. You and I have known each other, but goes back to our days of being actively involved student leaders on our respective campuses and schools. So it's good to rekindle that connection.
Yes, and I'm so excited to bring you on today to just talk about the Junior League of Birmingham. So I'll give you up to toot your horn, kind of tell the people about this great organization, how long it's been here in Birmingham.
So I love every opportunity to talk about the Junior League of Birmingham. So the Junior League of Birmingham is an organization of more than 2,200 women here in this great metropolitan in Jefferson and Shelby County. And we've been around since 1922. So wow. If you math, that's nearly 100 years that the Junior League of Birmingham has been supporting, inspiring, and empowering positive change in our community. And as a women's membership organization, we focus on a number of issues, and our mission is about promoting volunteerism, developing the potential of women, and inspiring community change through volunteerism and leadership. So we do that actively every day through the power of that 2,200 women in our membership. And I'm so proud of every single one of them and all that they do in and outside of the league.
Yeah, one thing I like about when I was going, you sent me over some information prior to the interview, you all touched so many different facets of the community. Not only you put like boots on the ground, you actually give them financial support as well.
That's absolutely right. So that's one of the uniquenesses, I think, of the league is because we are a women's membership organization, we're also a volunteer organization. So our support in the community pairs funding with skilled, talented leaders and volunteers. So it stretches that dollar of our own investment, but also that we get through fundraising that we do throughout the year. So you know the return on investment of your contribution to the league goes really farther than that dollar itself.
Oh, wow. And I see it's broken down like 4 different categories, like impact you all do: education, culture, economic security and financial stability, safety and crisis, and health and wellness. So I like why you all chose those 4 areas to kind of focus on.
So every 3 to 5 years, we look at our impact areas and our mission compared to the needs in the community. So because of the breadth of our mission, if you think about that, it really is allowing us to be nimble to meet the needs of the community today. So, but we've seen as we've looked at what are the issues that can truly impact and transform a community it aligns to those four that you mentioned: health and wellness, education and culture, safety and crisis, and economic stability and financial security. Because all of those elements come together to create a healthy community in the broadest aspect of defining a healthy community. So every year we go through a process where we open up our application for projects. So agencies from around our metro apply for resources and for volunteers. And then our vision of building partnerships for a better Birmingham allows us to support the community in that specific need. So we come alongside that agency, we partner to envision and then implement that project. And then the beauty, if you look at that 100-year history, is we've been able to give those projects back to the community as organizations that live and thrive on their own. So in that history, we have birthed organizations like Magic Moments and Birmingham Children's Theater and the Junior League of Birmingham, who call Children's Zoo at the Birmingham Zoo, and so many other organizations like Literacy Council and Voices for Alabama Children have roots in the Junior League, because we've had that flexibility of meeting the needs of the community at that time. And then after giving it some life through funding and ingenuity of really smart, talented women in the Junior League, can give it back to the community, and it lives on its own.
So let's go back, I almost want to say 6 months ago, okay. March 2020.
Oh,
COVID arrives.
That was a different time, wasn't it?
Yes. What was your first initial thoughts on how it would affect your organization?
So we send more than 600 women into the community to support those community projects. And as you can imagine, those are direct, hands-on, person-to-person projects. So the first thing we thought about was, how do we ensure the safety and health of our volunteers and those that we're serving in the community? So that was the first thing. The second was, how can we provide value to our community and to our members? So like everything else that we've all done since March, we've pivoted, right? And how we've successfully done that is when you can define what is your purpose, what is the value you're trying to contribute, and then you reimagine what you're doing with it. So how we designed a project, for example, with Girls Incorporated. So that's a really good one. Girls Inc., they have a team leadership program that we've been a part of for years. And we work with that leadership program to one Saturday a month. We spend time with those group of young girls that are in this program. And we do everything from job and college prep to focusing on empowerment and mentorship. And it's a lot of, one-on-one kind of activity. So we worked with Girls Inc. to reimagine that. So using virtual formats that allow us to continue to connect with these girls, but to do so in a manner that's safe for them and safe for volunteers. And when you take that same type of reimagining and apply it to all 41 of our community projects, it allows us to continue to provide value for our community, and probably more than we ever realized before, because virtual gives you greater reach, right? And for our members who have committed to this organization and this mission because of their own passion for our community.
Okay. And so did you notice anything as far as when it came to like donations, like financial donations? Did you experience a drop off, or did it stay steady, or did it increase?
So at that time in the spring, one of our large fundraisers that's actually helping us create our gift to the community for our 100th. So in 2022, we have committed to giving at least $1.25 million to One Place Metro Alabama Family Justice Center to provide a permanent home for them. And we're excited about that and the legacy that leaves in our community, and supporting this wonderful resource for victims and survivors of sexual assault and domestic violence. That we do in the spring. So we had just kicked off fundraising for our Centennial Gift Community of Lights campaign. And it's all fundraising and a lot of social media platform for individual giving. And what we were delighted to see was that it didn't change.
Oh,
So,
that's great.
and I think that goes back to how the importance of the mission and the importance of what we were raising the money for, that wasn't going to change because of COVID. And in fact, it's probably as of a greater need, right? Because when we were on quarantine, you had more people that were confined to their home and their living situations, even if it wasn't a safe environment. So the need for one place and creating this one resource with all of these different agencies under one roof was even greater. And then since then, as we started our fall, two of our large fundraisers are in the fall, one in October and one in November. And one of them is a large in-person holiday market. So what do you think we had to do? We pivoted, right? So we took a fully virtual format and completely reimagined it. And thankfully we had from, the time that we made that decision over the summer to November to do that. But it was different. But what I understood from it too is that it gave us a platform to maybe try some things that we wouldn't have otherwise tried, and things that we'll want to keep, whether there's COVID or not. So it gave us some freedom to go beyond how we've always done things and really redesign it to be exciting for those that we're supporting and that those that are executing these programs like our members.
Yeah, I want to talk about your members because one thing I love about your organization is it pretty much represents a cross section of Birmingham and the metro area. And pretty much in all professions.
Yeah, it's really, when you think about what our mission is and our vision of building partnerships for a better Birmingham, and it calls in people who have a common passion for our community and a common commitment to serve our community. And because for us to be able to do that effectively, we have to draw on the diversity of experience and background and interests of women from all across this community. So I have loved seeing the league introduce us to one another, where we learn more about all of the beautiful facets of our community, and we draw on those strengths to serve our community better. So yeah, we represent 39 different municipalities in the metro across Jefferson and Shelby County. Women who work outside the home, who don't work outside the home, women who are students, women who are parents, women who, the vast experiences here, those from Birmingham, those not from Birmingham, but they all come together around a common purpose, and that's empowering and inspiring positive change in our community.
Yeah, and one thing I want to talk about too, and you sent me over a strategic plan, which I love, is this 21-day racial equity challenge.
That's right. So one aspect, obviously COVID-19 was the first pandemic that we encountered this year back in March, and our league year shifts June 1st. That's when our new league year started. So that's when I started in this role. And if you recall where we were in May of this year, there was a great deal of unrest in our country. And it was surrounding the deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery. And for us as a country to be exposed to the structural racism and social injustice that existed within our environment, and finally say, we do not support this and we will not stand by it. So we started this league year, obviously having to pivot around COVID-19, but also standing up for our values of inclusion and valuing differences of experience and background in our members and in our community. So we asked the question, how do we introduce this? How do we truly be a part of transformational change in our community as a part of the Junior League? So the first thing we said was, well, we need to start in our community. So within in our community of the Junior League of Birmingham and these 2,200 women, what is it that we can be doing to begin those conversations internally? Because if we truly have a broad and diverse membership, then creating a platform for dialogue, for understanding those differences, valuing difference, and increasing our own awareness and how we then take that out into the other communities that we're a part of, where we live, where we work. So we focused then this year on training for our membership. So the Association of Junior Leagues International that we're a part of, it's our parent international organization. They partnered with Food Solutions Network of New England to use content that they had developed for a 21-day racial equity challenge. And then we also partnered with Food Solutions to bring that to the Junior League of Birmingham. So we just concluded our first cohort of the 21-day challenge about a week before Thanksgiving. And then we're going to start our next one in January. And what it is really is it's in a very intensive learning environment, both individual learning and then through small group discussion. You're exploring all of the aspects of racism and social injustice that exists as a way to educate yourselves, but as a way also to create dialogue for greater learning. Learning from one another, greater appreciation for the challenges that exist, and those that, for me, honestly, as a white woman, I would not have been otherwise. I didn't experience myself. And so it gave me a place for growing and learning as a person, and then taking that knowledge and that privilege, both as a member of the Junior League, but as a member of my community, to go out and to begin transforming that community. So we've started there. We also are training all of our leaders. So we have 280 women in leadership roles in the league. And all of them will complete both unconscious bias and microaggression training this year before the end of the league. Because them as leaders, they need to value the difference of the women on their team and value the differences of background and experience of those that they're serving in and outside of the league. And so this training gives them a piece of that and begins that learning and development process for them.
I mean, I really love this concept in this program. So are you all thinking about maybe if organizations or companies ever call you all in to kind of do it for them, for their company and their employees?
So Food Solutions Network of New England has been so kind to offer that content for free. Okay. And we benefit from having some great women in our organization. This is their space. So Nikki Ming White is a member of the Regions Diversity and Inclusions team at Regions. And she is a member of the Junior League and is co-chair of this task force. Martina Winston with Protective Life is also on there. She's on their HR team, leadership team, and does diversity and equity and inclusion efforts there. And so we're benefiting from the knowledge and expertise of our own members internally as we start to begin that dialogue within ourselves. And I think what that does then is allows us to go out and create platforms for dialogue in the community. One of our programs, it's called Community Roundtables, and it's a way for us to provide valuable content to our partner agencies as well as to others in the community. And every year we create, obviously this year they're going to be virtual, platforms for dialogue around issues that are of importance that have different perspectives, right? Where there's not always one point of view, and it's important to explore multiple points of view to help educate us. And we've explored within that setting everything from mental health to LGBTQ issues to sexual assault and domestic violence, education. So it creates a platform, and certainly structural racism is an element of that we want to talk about. Because when we think about those 4 impact areas that you mentioned earlier, Jarvis, so health and wellness, education and culture, financial stability, safety and crisis, you have to acknowledge what are the driving forces for those issues in our community, especially those where the reason we're addressing them is because there's disparity in access to those things. So structural racism is an element of driving a root cause for those. It's not the only root cause, but it is a root cause. So for us not to be conscious of that and talk about it, we're never going to truly affect that issue that we're passionate about changing. So for me, it's an important element about training our members to be empowered and knowledgeable advocates in our community as much as they are delivering direct service within our community as a member of the league.
So somebody, if they're watching this podcast, one of my female viewers, if they would like to join your organization, what's the process?
Please do, yes. So we are right now in the middle of member recruitment for our class that will start next year. So our membership, like you said, it's a membership organization. We have a 1-year training period. It's your provisional training. You learn every aspect of the league and you serve right alongside others who are in that experience with you. And then after you complete that year, you have 10 years of active service where you have obligation of time and resource into whatever aspect of the league's mission that you're working on, whether that's president of the league or if it is chairing one of our projects like Girls Inc. Team Leadership. So to apply to be a member of the organization, go to our website, jlbonline.com. And on the top right, you'll see a button that says join. Click on that and all the information that you need about joining the Junior League is there, including a link to our application. We just want your contact information and we'll invite you to one of our info sessions. And we have one coming up on December 9th, and then we have another one early January. So if you go to that website, all the information will be listed there. And if this year is not the year, because who knows, a lot of things are changing around us, and knowing and having stability about, well, what am I really going to be doing in June of 2021? Applications are always open. And so we would love for you to reach out and we'll keep you informed about what we're doing and how to join the league when you're ready to join the league.
And what if I'm a nonprofit organization that's watching right now? How can I link up with you all as well?
Oh, that's a great question too. So we do our work through partnership. It is an important facet of our value. So go into that same website, jlbonline.com. In the top right, there's a button for community partnership. And there are multiple ways that we partner with community. We mentioned our projects earlier, and that application process just closed for the next league year. But you can still go online and you can look, what does it mean to be a community partner? What are those impact areas you mentioned that we're looking for? You can look at the application for being a community partner and all the projects that we're doing today to get a flavor of what are the type of things that our members are doing in service to community. And then we also have a community assistance fund. So we provide small grants to nonprofit organizations who have an emergency financial need. Everything from a roof leak that you were not budgeting for and things like that. They're not COVID related, since there are so many organizations, thankfully, in our community who are giving directly for COVID relief. We saw the need and the gap that existed on non-COVID support resources. So we still have that fund directed to those who have emergency need. We also have other partnership opportunities, whether that's being a panelist on a roundtable or joining us during a general membership meeting to talk about the work that you're doing in a community in one of our impact areas. So there are many ways to work with us as a community partner.
Okay, so any last thoughts you want to tell, the viewers today? Because I'm very impressed, and congratulations. And we know each other personally, but I'm so proud of you and the work that you're doing, especially your organization is doing in the community, especially before even COVID. that you're continuing to do now, especially since, in this upcoming year that, fundraising and raising money is going to be real tight. You all are still kind of plugging that gap.
That's right. And I appreciate that, Jarvis. One, because it's coming from you. And I certainly value your relationship, our relationship, and your opinion on that. And I'm just so glad to be able to introduce people to the league. Because like you said, this legacy of positive impact in our community for the last 100 years is inspiring. It inspires me every day to continue to do this work and to see it move forward into its next century. And I think the more people that can be a part of that effort, from being a member to being a donor to being a partner or just telling our story, that is what I'm so grateful for. So join us in any way that makes sense for you. The Junior League of Birmingham is a fundamental part of this community, and it takes every single one of us working together for true structural, sustainable change in our communities. So whatever that looks like, join us.
Well, I also commend you all for stepping up, because like you said, back when May happened with George Floyd and everything, you all just found that program and plugged it in. And like people say, it's always good to start at home, then go elsewhere. And you started at home. So kind of thank you for having that forward thinking, your organization having that forward thinking leadership to even say, hey, let's step out front first and do this.
Well, I appreciate you acknowledging that. It's, when I think about, we have all of these women who are members, and every single one of them is a leader. And 40% of our active membership are on other boards and other nonprofits in our community. So if we do that, if we do begin that dialogue and educate and empower our members, you automatically see the ripple effect that happens in this community because they are leaders elsewhere in the community. So I'm excited to see what that will continue to provide, and that this dialogue and transformation moves ahead and doesn't stop.
Okay. Well, Toni, thank you for coming on today. Feel free to come back anytime in the future, update, especially what you all are doing. Definitely appreciate y'all and everything you all doing in the community. Thank you all for watching this video today. Please check out what'shappeningbirmingham.com for more videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you all again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Jarvis, bye.
Thank you for watching the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast. Please check out our website, app, or subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos today.